This is Michael Arias, and we're looking at the Bitcoin chart today. We're going to take a contrarian view on previous analysis, basically trying to build a thesis in order to properly gauge where Bitcoin is at and where it's going and what it's going to take to get there. Now, this can potentially give us quite a bit of insight, potentially, if it's used properly. There is a chance that we could potentially understand what's happening with Bitcoin. Now that we've come full circle with the US dollar analysis versus, other fiat currencies and interest rates, and basically even the stock market in my previous video, I'm now of the thinking that potentially we could be within an expanded B wave correction. Okay, so what that means is that yes, this could have been a B wave up in what happened in 2021, right? But there's a couple of things wrong with this view that's a bit too simplistic and trying to basically almost make something into potentially something that it isn't. So in saying that, there's a potential here for a different view, and that would indicate that this B wave is going to be complex in a way that it's more than likely going to be a type 2 expanded zigzag, which means that once we do hit this high, we're not going to really be able to drop much in order to come back to the end of wave A in brackets. So instead, we may get really choppy until we complete the B wave pattern. I don't know. I find this interesting. Let me go into a bit more detail here. So obviously within a correction, there's A, B, C, D, E. Now, this move down here, to me, is okay to be looked at as a wave. And then what we have in here that happened after that being a B wave, right, with the interesting subdivisions in between. And then we have a C wave, which was quite small, right? And then we had this massive move up, which was totally unexpected. To be honest, it was. But then we had it come back all the way back down again. So what I believe that could mean in terms of, from a trading standpoint, is that we could potentially be looking at a move back up to the highs, simply just for the D wave of the still unfolding B wave, which means that, as I said earlier, we're likely to see a move back down. However, because of the expanded nature of this move and given the length of wave A, right, we wouldn't be able to come back down without making this zigzag appear to be really not that accurate looking, right? So what that means is we'd have to have an A wave later. So it still could come back down, but it wouldn't really come back down that far because we'd still need to produce that C wave, right? So what I'm trying to say is here, for example, if I just put in this B wave here to illustrate what I mean, E wave could come back down here before we end B wave, the B in brackets, right? And then once that's done, we're going to have to look for that wave C in brackets. Okay, so therefore that would be the B wave, that the end of the B wave that started back in 2018. So that paints a fairly complex picture. Um, yeah, look, at this point in time, it's it seems logical that that could happen. So which means that there's a couple of more ups and downs before we get something a bit more serious than this presumed C wave, which more than likely now is starting to look like it's not really a C wave. And one of the key giveaways here for me after really going full circle with all my analysis is, well, for starters, this particular pattern here looks more like one zigzag, not a full correction, right? And I suppose when you look closely, you see this zigzag in here and a C wave here, DE. To me, this is a full zigzag. So that being there does not make any sense if we are to try and say that's a wave two or something. It doesn't seem right. So that initial move down after April 2021, it looks like an expanded type 2 zigzag for wave A. And then what happened after that, could count for basically a B wave zigzag, and then a C, a D, and then an E. So in terms of this E wave here, which is the small E wave within the D wave, I would say that it's probably a type 1 week 5 wave move. So the first move appears to be zigzag like, and then the second move could be another zigzag there. That is not breaking any rules, in my opinion. It just means that now we need to see a final small zigzag down. So we could be very close to a bottom here because we wouldn't be able to go below this level here, which is the start of the D wave. Okay, that would break the rule completely and it would invalidate the entire structure. So 9,849 being the line in the sand, we really can't go below that. So this could definitely offer some hope for altcoins analysis too. But as I said, I'm being very careful, slowly combing through each chart in order to come to these conclusions carefully and slowly. So that's my contrarian view. I will keep you updated on the smaller degree price action according to this count, and then see how potentially we could, you know, basically take advantage of this coming move, which should definitely send Bitcoin all the way back up to all-time highs. So hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you.